The Golden Globe Awards were last night, the lamest of all Hollywood award shows, but that doesn't mean that we can't have a good time laughing at the lameness, because this year it was so lame that the entertainment industrial complex isn't even trying to pretend that it wasn't. Usually a comedian hosts the show, or a duo, or household names. But this year they opted for this guy, whoever he is, who is so insignificant. I had never heard of him, and I didn't want to waste any brain cells remembering his name. He did so bad that the audience booed him, and not because his jokes were funny to normal people and offensive to the Hollywood elite, but because they just weren't funny at all.
The key moment in Barbie is when she goes from perfect beauty to bad breath, cellulite, and flat feet. Or what casting directors call character actor. Some I wrote, some other people wrote. Robert De Niro's here. Yo, I got the gig 10 days ago. You want a perfect monologue? Yo, shut up. You're kidding me, right?
But thankfully, comedian Jim Gaffigan was there as a presenter of an award and helped lighten the mood. And a clip that you gotta see, which I'll show in just a moment, so stay tuned. The Golden Globe Awards, by the way, in case you were wondering, is an award ceremony for both television and movies. The Emmys are the ceremonies for best television shows, the Oscars, of course, for best movies. And so somebody many years ago thought they had a brilliant idea, and they would have an award show for both television and movies. And we can't have a Hollywood award show these days without the host and the presenters complaining about white people. And so here's the host, who is half Filipino, I learned, because those who are obsessed with race are always telling you how they identify. Here he is talking about the movie Killers of the Flower Moon.
You guys crushed it. Crushed it. The one thing I learned about that movie is that white people stole everything. You guys stole everything. Not like 97%. You guys stole 100% of everything. You took the land, you took the oil, you took the premise of the movie. What, that was your premise? That's hilarious, I don't care. It's just that the room is really white.
And then these presenters got upset because apparently there were no people of color who were nominated for Best Foreign Film, only Europeans.
We're here to hand out the award for Best Motion Picture, Non-English Language.
Woohoo! These films featured all kinds of languages, ranging from everything such as French and German to Finnish and German to even Polish and German.
And in some instances, the non-English language of, well, English.
Yep, so a lot of different kinds of white people. And Greta Lee. Okay, here are the nominees.
A lot of different kinds of white people, he said. Well, I detect some serious white envy there, sir. Which I have defined as when black or other non-white people who live in a predominantly white culture feel envious of the society because their ancestors lacked the skills, knowledge, or possessions of others in the dominant culture, often resulting in resentment and demands for reparations, instead of accepting personal responsibility for their own situations and working to improve their lives through hard work, discipline, and other ethical means of achieving success and happiness. More white envy was on display with these two, whoever they are.
Good evening, everyone. Issa and I recently had the privilege of playing Barbie and Ken in the Barbie movie, which is pretty impactful for people who look like us.
I think he means a Barbie and a Ken, not the Barbie and the Ken, because from what I understand, and I didn't go and watch the movie, there were a bunch of different Barbies and Kens, but everybody knows that Margot Robbie is Barbie. I'll watch CNN and even Hollywood award shows on occasion, but I draw the line at going and watching a Barbie movie. Who would go to the theater and watch a Barbie movie, even just to do a review about how terrible it is? Oh, wait, what's this? Ben Shapiro posted a review about Barbie, and it's 42, almost 43 minutes long. Seriously, he went to the theater to watch Barbie opening weekend and then did a review about the movie that is almost as long as the movie itself. But I did learn from watching the Golden Globes that Taylor Swift has zero sense of humor.
Welcome back, and as you know, we came on after a football doubleheader. The big difference between the Golden Globes and the NFL, on the Golden Globes, we have fewer camera shots of Taylor Swift. I swear. There's just more to go to here. Sorry about that. Please welcome the...
Now, he made a good point there, but he messed it up by laughing at his own joke. He said that there are fewer camera shots of Taylor Swift. And Taylor should have smiled and laughed and nodded in agreement, because even non-football fans know that it's absurd how much the NFL is obsessed with Taylor Swift coming to her boyfriend's games and cutting to her to see her reaction every time her new boyfriend, the vaccine salesman, is involved in a play. Look at that. No sense of humor and no soul. Taylor Swift had a soul, surprisingly, for many years being in the industry, but ultimately did sell out to Satan, and now is a mouthpiece for the Marxist Democrats here at the MTV VMAs a few years ago, promoting the Marxist Democrat legislation, the Equality Act, which, if passed, would mandate that all business owners, teachers, government employees, government agencies respect and use the requested gender identity and pronouns of anybody, whether it's somebody who has no gender or is one gender one day or another gender the next. That's literally what they're calling the Equality Act. They want to improve, they say, on the Civil Rights Act, because that doesn't mention anything about pronouns or gender identity. And I thought this was a meme, but this is an actual photo. Taylor Swift really did bake Biden 2020 cookies. Another thing I noticed is that the Golden Globes were about 50% commercials, and they sure do know their key demographic audience. This is seriously one of the commercials. I won't play the whole thing because you'll cringe to death, but this is what's going out to the mainstream American audiences.
To help protect from HIV,
I prep without pills.
with Apretude, a prescription medicine used to reduce the risk of HIV without daily PrEP pills, with one shot every other month, just 6 times a year.
Okay, I think we've all seen enough. It gets much worse, but I don't want you to spoil your breakfast or lunch. And even though Jim Gaffigan has Trump derangement syndrome, sorry to break it to you, but he does. But he has been able to maintain control over his soul despite being in the industry. And his stand-up is actually quite funny and family-friendly. And he decided to, point out the obvious about the average Hollywood celebrity.
This is so exciting for me. The Golden Globes. I mean, I can't even believe I'm in the entertainment industry. I can't. It's so unlikely. I'm from a small town in Indiana. I'm not a pedophile. I don't know if that's a new category here, but
Just look at their faces. They know the truth. Gaffigan was there to present an award for a brand new category that surprisingly had never been included in any of the major Hollywood award shows, Best Stand-Up. And very fitting, Ricky Gervais won, who you may recall was the host of the Golden Globes back in 2020, just before the pandemic hit and the lockdowns, when it was actually funny for a change, because he ripped all the Hollywood elite, Jeffrey Epstein's friends, even Tim Cook and Apple, who was there, since Apple was producing shows as well. And so he won for Best Stand-Up, and even better, he didn't even bother to show up to the awards. It would have been funny if he would have showed up, but I think he said his piece back when he was the host. Remember this?
So, if you do win an award tonight, don't use it as a platform to make a political speech, right? You're in no position to lecture the public about anything. You know nothing about the real world. Most of you spent less time in school than Greta Thunberg. So, if you win, right, come up, accept your little award, thank your agent and your God, and off. Okay? So...
I'm actually surprised that they allowed him to win, but the Golden Globes is put on by the Hollywood Foreign Press Association, literally a group of foreign news outlets that cover the entertainment industry in Hollywood, not by the Hollywood elite themselves, like the Oscars and the Emmys. And so they might actually be looking into the entertainment industry at this point and just being like, okay, this woke stuff has gone way too far. And we definitely need more comedy like this.
Oh, women. Not all women. I mean the old-fashioned ones. You know, the old-fashioned women. Oh, God. You know, the ones with wombs. Oh.
And by the way, in my book, Hollywood Propaganda, How TV Movies and Music Shape Our Culture, I detail how there are numerous lobbying agencies in Hollywood called social impact agencies that work sort of like lobbyists in Washington, D.C., who people hire to then try to convince members of Congress to introduce and pass certain legislation. But the social impact agencies in Hollywood are used to literally lobby writers and the producers and the studio heads to use their shows and movies as propaganda pieces and to insert their planned propaganda into those pieces of entertainment. So if you haven't read it, order it in paperback from Amazon.com or click the link in the description below and check it out.